So don't just take that whole packet of the salts, the electrolytes, and don't just dump it into this. You can. It's going to be really salty. It's going to be really salty. I like to dilute it out a little bit. And you really only need like probably one of those a day. You don't really need a lot more of those than that. Now, if you're very active and you exercise a lot and you work out a lot, then maybe like more than one a day. But for most people, that's going to be pretty good.
You can't handle your salt.
I can't, not that much at once. It was a lot for me. Some people like it. Some people like it. To me, I like to dilute it. So if you try it, you're like, oh, no, just, it says on the packet anywhere from like 8 up to 32 ounces of water. So I think these are diluted to 32. So they just have like a subtle taste. I like more of the subtle taste. I don't like the like get kicked in the face kind of taste. I don't particularly love that. No. My children are more likely to do that, and that's enough for me.
You don't want the Hawaiian punch.
Just give me the Hawaiian, just the Hawaiian part.
So do the giveaway? You want to do it?
Yeah. I got to get it from. Hey Danielle, do you want to grab the our raffle, or are we doing the raffle later?
At the end, because
just kidding.
Still have anyone who.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Just right. Okay. Just so you guys all know, you didn't know because we're full of surprises here. So just by showing up, you guys got entered into a raffle. Anytime you bring a guest, you get another ticket for a raffle. If you buy any supplements or anything, or you schedule a new patient exam, you also get more raffle tickets. So we've got some different great prizes here that we'll have for that. We're going to give that at the end. So we'll give you guys a minute to get that sorted.
Challenge. If they sign up for the challenge, they get another ticket.
Boom. And if you sign up for the challenge, so then you also get another raffle ticket. Right there. Your fate is in my hands. Literally sometimes.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, hopefully you guys got some good snacks. Everyone feeling good? We're going to do one thing. Just because, well, I'll do this in a minute. We'll do this in a minute. Everybody.
All right, we're herding cats today.
All right.
Herding, not hurting.
Herding. Ready? We're going to do it at the end.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
I was here.
Okay. I didn't know where you were standing.
So great, it's break time.
All right.
Now it is.
Everybody take. So this first half was the fire hose. Did it feel like a fire hose? Was it a lot?
It was a lot. Yeah.
It was a lot.
A little bit.
Okay. I'll take that as a compliment. It was a lot, but not a fire hose. Okay. I've been reading this book. This is not a health book. It's not a chiropractic book. I could do, and maybe eventually I will do an entire workshop on this book. It is called Left of Bang. This book is really interesting because Left of Bang, this is for special forces. That's how it was designed, but now they're getting it out into the wider public. Left of Bang looks like this. If you're following a timeline, when an event happens, following the timeline, here's now, and I'm doing it, I hope I'm doing it backwards correctly. I feel like I'm British, driving on the wrong side of the road. If here's you, here's the event. Most of the time, when an event happens, we are right of bang. It's happened and we're reacting. So in a military context, it's imagine there's the president is coming into town. Left of bang is being able to stop it before bang, so that there's no bang. Right of bang means the best case scenario is the bang has already happened and now you're trying to mediate. So staying left of bang means doing the things that you would do. So imagine that you, with your health and with your life, you're trying to stay left of bang. Staying left of bang means being aware of where the threats exist. And the book is really good. It goes into when you're left of bang changed in Afghanistan and Iraq because now it used to be the bang was the military-aged males, and you can spot them. You know where the bang is coming. But now, what do you do with children who are trained to be suicide bombers or trained with weapons? Elderly people who are sometimes the ex-warlords that are out there. They're not the military-aged males. In other words, at first glance, it can come from anywhere. To stay left of bang means recognizing the threat before the threat happens and being proactive, getting out in front of it. Because being reactive, if our government, well, let's not do that one. If our military was reactive, the president comes into town, we'd go through a lot of presidents. And I'm not having that conversation today. But if I were to, staying left of bang means being prepared. Being prepared means recognizing threats when you see them. Recognizing threats means being up to date on the latest information on what those threats look like. Knowing who to trust, knowing who not to trust, knowing why not to trust them, knowing when not to normally trust, but this time it makes sense. Forming that philosophy around when you can stay left of bang with your health.
Preparing for the worst.
And then when bang happens, you're ready for it. Best case scenario, no bang. Worst case scenario, bang, but muffled. Prepared. So everything we're talking about with metabolic health is to stay left of bang. We do that today. You go through this 30-day challenge, get that momentum, because what we want to do is we want to create a vision. And the vision is this. It is currently, if you're not aware, 2024. I put it that way because every last one of us goes, holy cow, is it really 2024? It's March. Taxes are almost due. Springtime.
Maybe.
Time moves really fast. And it moves faster backwards than forwards. Because when I was a kid, by 2015, we have flying cars, clothes that dry themselves, shoes that tie themselves, hoverboards with some guy named Biff trying to kill us for some reason. That was 9 years ago. Number one, I'm grateful for not flying cars because I've seen the driving cars. I go down 23 every day. But number two, if this distant future is 9 years in the past, if you look at yourself today, compare yourself to just 5 years ago, not even 9, go 5 years back. And if you were 5 years ago and you were to say, by 2024, I will have lost this weight, or I've lowered this blood pressure, or my levels will be here, or I'll be off these medications, and you made this picture 5 years ago for today, does today match 5 years ago or not? And if not, what do you think 5 years from now looks like as time speeds up and it doesn't slow down? So we're now in that mode where we're ready to take those actions. Your makeover starts today. It doesn't end in the next hour or whatever. It ends once you've made over. So if you decide now is the time, today is the day, and you make a contract with yourself, once you've signed that contract, it's not time to renegotiate. Contract is signed, then you just go do, and come hell or high water, come hook or by crook, you do the thing that you agreed to yourself that you would do. Decide. Then take the action steps. We've started out, we've given you a lot of information. Now I want to give you some action steps to help set us up for success. So I've got 8 trips to the grocery, 8 tips if we're going to the grocery store. Now, we have intentionally set aside for a couple of reasons, and not just St. Patrick's Day, set aside a week, almost a week and a couple of days for the challenge to start. because we wanted to give you a chance. It's a terrible idea to go home and say, I've got all this junk in my fridge, I'm going to eat it.
Don't do that.
In my mind.
Don't do that.
I went to the grocery, I'm like, oh my God. How much food I had to eat before the 25th.
Here's an interesting thing I had to teach myself relatively recently. Don't buy it and you won't eat it. But, here's the but. Eating it comes in stages. And cut it off as left of bang as you can. But you find yourself in those weak moments, and weak moments happen. As long as it hasn't gone into your mouth yet, you're okay. I haven't, with very little exception, eaten donuts in years. After my heart surgery, I wanted donuts again. I don't know why, I just started craving them. I found myself, I was at Kroger. I don't even like donuts anymore. This is what's so fascinating. I smelled it, and those memories from my childhood came back, you know? And I put it in the bag, and I put it in my cart. And then I bought it. And then it's in the car. I got that far. If you've come that far, you might as well finish it, but I didn't break my contract yet. I'm not saying toe the line. In fact, I'm saying definitely don't. But if you find yourself in that position, you haven't broken your contract yet.
Just share it. Give it away.
And by the way, this is negotiating. Once you sign the contract with yourself, you don't renegotiate. Feed the ducks, throw it out the window. I don't care what you do. Just don't eat it. Right? So once you sign that, and that's what the word decide means. It's from the Latin decidere. It means to cut off. To decide means to cut off. I've decided, and I've cut off everything that's on the other side of that line. Once you've decided, you've decided. It is done. It's written. And you have this power inside of you that most of us haven't tapped in years to do whatever the heck you want to do. Because your brain and your heart and your spirit are infinitely powerful. And you're stuck middling because that's what we settle for. Now we stop doing that. Now we start taking the steps that 5 years ago you wish you would have taken to get to today, but 5 years from today you'll be glad that you did. Oh, there's fires and bellies now. Okay, let's get to the boring stuff. Grocery store. Grocery store. Eat like a shark. If it's not food, don't eat it. Well, how do you know what's not a food? Here's some tips. When you go to a grocery store, schedule it. Don't call me on your way home and say, what do you need from the store? The answer is going to be, did we schedule it? The answer is not going to be donuts. There was something just the other day. I forget what it was. She says, I'm going somewhere. She says, what do you want? I went, nothing. I don't remember. Where was that? Some place that was off limits. Well, not the whole thing wasn't, but like she knows the one thing that I wanted I wasn't going to get. Schedule is time. Your body has a natural rhythm. It wakes up at a certain time. It goes to bed at a certain time. You throw that rhythm off, where if you're used to getting up at 7 a.m. and now you get up at 4, even if you got the same hours of sleep, your whole rhythm is thrown off. Did you know that's true for chiropractic adjustments? Your body gets used to, if you come in once a week, on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, if that's your appointment, and now you skip a week, or you skip a couple of days, you've now thrown the rhythm off. And your body's got to readjust. It's got to, literally, I guess, no pun intended. But your body's got to figure that out because now you're off rhythm. That is, by the way, why we say keep your appointments. That we are keeping a schedule. When things get backlogged, that's one of the reasons for it. But your body has a natural schedule, and we want to use that schedule. With adjustments, when you drop down in frequency, it's because we think your body's adapting. That's why the doctor gives those recommendations, correct? Mm-hmm. Set a time. Number 2, shop on the outside of the store. Sometimes she will ask me to go into one of the middle aisles. And I will say, text me a picture. I don't know what you want me to get. I don't know what's in those aisles. I don't go into them. I don't go into those ever. And she says, I need some beans for some chili. And I go, where do I find beans? The canned goods. Where are the canned goods? I am not apocalypse ready. By the way, when our power went out, anybody else's power go out the other day? Ours went out for a solid, 12, 14, 16 hours. And I instantly went to, what's the movie? It's on Netflix. It's I'll Leave the World Behind. If you haven't seen it yet, it will blow your mind. I instantly went to, okay, Civil War's happening, and this is my life now without power. I don't have any. I just don't know what's in the middle aisles. Cheap on the outside. That's where the better stuff is. Buy more foods without labels. Eat vegetables. What you see is what you get. Remember COVID? Anybody remember that? It's a thing that happened a few years ago. And we'd walk into the grocery store, and the food was plentiful. The not food was gone.
With the toilet paper.
With the toilet paper. So when the not food was gone, right? When the not food was gone, those of us food eaters were like, all right, this is great for a week until it went bad. But we did well with that food that was there. Now, buy without with labels, we want to teach you how to read the labels, and I think Marissa's done a little bit of that, and we'll do a little bit more. But the easiest thing is if it doesn't have a label, well, eat that instead. We alluded to this earlier. Sweetgrass Dairy is our favorite go-to. There are others. We're not sponsored by them or anything like that.
Check out your local farmers markets. Worthington has a farmers market that's indoors right now too. So you guys can check that out, or the other ones will be coming up soon. There's probably other ones that are indoor right now too. I'm not sure. But you want to look at that. Sorry, really fast. Grass-fed and grass-finished. If you're asking what do you do to your meat? Is it grass-fed? Yes. But is it grass-finished? Often they'll say no, because what they'll do is they'll feed it the grains at the end, because the grains make the cow fatter. That's why they feed the grains. They get more out of it.
So buy more food without labels. Well, that way you don't have to read a label. Now, often we will do what we call a grocery store tour. And I say often, it's been a long time since we've done it. But we want to do it. And we're going to do a virtual grocery store tour where we're going to, instead of inviting you guys out, just because we're throwing a lot at you all at once, we're going to do it by video. And we'll record it and we'll send it to you. We're going to be walking around the grocery store and we're saying, buy this, don't get this. Here's where this label is tricking you. My favorite one is at Costco. It's organic tortilla chips made with canola oil. Who are you fooling? You guys know why they put canola oil in it. It's cheap, right? It's just cheap. It's easier for them. They don't care. It's like I say with soap companies. Soap companies don't care if your hands get cleaner. They don't care if that product gives you cancer. They don't want you to die, because then you can't buy the product. But they're going to give you foam, smells, textures, pretty labels, and it could be death in a bottle. But if you're buying more of it, they've got stock people. They got investors to worry about. It's a little easier to turn a blind eye to some of these chemicals when that's what's going on. Next one, read the labels. Don't just look at calories, fat percent, carbs, etc. We want you to look at the most important part. When I was in my bodybuilding, I'd go, all right, here's the percentage of carbs to fat. And then I started going into, here's what fiber does. Now I skip to the bottom first. And if I see stevia, I look over it, I throw it away. I don't buy it. If I see bad oils.
You meant sugar.
What?
You meant sugar. You said stevia.
Splenda is what I meant. Not stevia, Splenda. If I see Splenda, it's no good. Sugar alcohols, I'm in the middle about. They're fine, but there's some gut issues there. So if I see certain things in there, they don't end up in my house, right? When you go out to eat, good idea to ask them. Now, not everything needs a hard line. This isn't me saying anything in moderation, but I understand lifestyle. So ask, can you make this with butter instead? Fewer ingredients listed, the better. It's not coming out of a lab. Look for natural ingredients, not chemicals. Same thing. Also,
that last one, and with the ingredients, usually the top 3 things that are listed is what compiles it of it the most. So looking keeping that into consideration.
Beware of marketing. Every aspect of the grocery store is designed to get you to buy. Every part of it. So when I say beware of marketing, I don't just mean the label. If it's got a pretty label, if it's got a cartoon character, it's probably not for you. I will say quasi-organic nice companies have gotten really good at trying to show the natural look, but they're still flowing. It's becoming a thing where they're putting in the stuff that's, so this is where being informed helps. That's why every time I look at it, I go, here's an energy drink that they say, oh, it's got stevia. So it's stevia, it's natural, it's great. And then also sucralose, which is splendid. I go, who the heck would do both? Well, they do that because it's cheaper, and they just assume you see the stevia and you stop looking.
Also, it's a good thing to look at too, if you're ever wondering, like, is this product good, healthy, not? Look at who owns it, who sells it. Like, what is the big overarching company?
That's all part of the marketing, right?
It's all part of the marketing. Is it Nestle? Is it Campbell's? Is it whoever? That will give you an insight too into what types of ingredients they're using.
Now, the natural organic world is becoming highly marketable, which I think is the necessary outcome of the world we're trying to create. Like it or not, that just means more people are buying it, right? If more people are educated and they're not buying the things that aren't, we shouldn't be buying, then we're going to have more better products. But that's a process. We've got to get there. So marketing is everything. Watch out for sugars, any in OS or stimulators, MSG, hydrolyzed or autolyzed ingredients, and artificial sweeteners. I already mentioned hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. These are the fats. If it's got seed oils, stay away. If it's got stevia, Splenda, stay away.
Sucralose. That's what they tell it.
Yeah.
They won't put Splenda. They'll say sucralose.
Well, what's fascinating, they used to say Splenda, and then everyone went, nope, Splenda's bad for you. So they said, okay, they just rebranded it to sucralose. And I said, look, it's an amino acid. And it's not naturally occurring, by the way. It's an amino acid. It's natural. It's not. It's made in a lab. It's a neurotoxin. Stay away. Emphatically. So if you're going to a grocery store, pay attention to the labels. Buy something without labels. Don't get the oils. Don't get the added junk. If it's got too many things, too many ingredients, don't touch it. That's a quick run through, right? Some of that's new, but some of that is complete review of what we did already in a grocery store. Safest bet, walk the aisle, and if it's not food, don't eat it.
Now, even places like at Costco, or not Costco, at Whole Foods, where they have like that hot bar and stuff, you gotta be really careful because they actually use canola oil in those foods that they make. So you're thinking, oh, well, it's Costco or not. Whole Foods, they have organic, it's healthier, not their hot bar stuff. They actually use canola oil in there. And I know you can read it on their little label. So read all that stuff as well, so that you're not tricked into and being fooled into that as well. So
this is a quick run through. The things that should be in your pantry. If I were to walk into your house tomorrow, I'll give you a day. If I were to walk into your house tomorrow and I were to look in your pantry in a kind, not judging way, am I pointing at something going, what the heck is this doing here? And you say you want to be healthy. I wouldn't be judging out loud, but I wouldn't be judging.
We can hear your thoughts.
But you can hear my...
Yeah, that's right here.
A fascinating thing happens. You start shedding your life of these things, you start feeling better. You start eating less. You start losing weight. You start having more energy. You're now resetting your body to eat the way it was designed to eat. Again, cavemen weren't walking around with honey, and honey is not this super processed stuff that we have. In fact, honey is great sometimes. Have it in moderation. What we have now isn't moderation. Move on to mindset. I just had a little bit on mindset, which I find ironic because mindset is everything. But the only reason I have a little bit here is because whether you know it or not, I've peppered mindset out throughout this entire talk. Because mindset is that spark. Without the mindset, the rest of it isn't going to matter. There is something called a placebo effect. We've all heard of it. I don't want to talk about the placebo effect because the placebo effect, once you're aware of it, it's no longer a placebo, right? But I will say this, the placebo outperforms the control every time, virtually every time. I think it's 7 out of 10 times. Joe Dispenza's You Are the Placebo is one of the most important books in my library. Everybody should read it. You Are the Placebo. The placebo effect isn't the sugar pill, it's you, and it's your beliefs. And they actually took, he details this, let me give you a couple of anecdotes from the book. One of them is, there's a study that they can't do here. I think they did it in somewhere in Asia. I want to say it was Japan. And they took some kids, they're allergic to poison ivy. And they said, here is a bay leaf, and rubbed it on their skin, no reaction. They took kids that were not allergic to poison ivy. Sorry, reverse that. Then they said, reverse it, where they told them it was poison ivy, and it was a bay leaf, and they had a reaction. To about 7 out of 10 times. There is a scientific notion that we're just really kind of unraveling now. If we're going to talk about living in this technology age where information is catching up faster than before, and AI is starting to get scary, and eventually we've got to start talking about these things that are a little less quantifiable, but we're starting to say you can't ignore them. Another one, Joe Dispenza talks about a guy who was told that he had this cancer. He was told he only had a couple of weeks to live. He said, I have one wish, I want to make it to Christmas. He makes it to Christmas, sees his family. The day after Christmas, dies. They did an autopsy. The type of cancer he had was not terminal. But from the moment he showed up, from the moment he walked in, he was fine. They told him he had cancer. He started getting sick. He said, I want to make it to Christmas. He was doing better. Christmas happened, sick again. Lasted one more day. Your body listens to your mind. One of the I've got a lot of big moments in my life, I think, but one moment that taught me a lot was last September when I had open heart surgery. When I speak about mindset, now, it is absolutely fundamental true. Marissa's going to talk more about the nervous system here in a minute. That the power that made the body heals the body. That if your nervous system is functioning, then your body is functioning. Your nervous system controls your health. The other things help it. But I will also say mindset controls it too. You can't have one without the other. And if you don't believe that the power that made the body heals the body, it's going to be more difficult for it to do that. That's not placebo. That's mindset. And last September, let me share this here. Is those that know, I've been pretty heavily involved in the Tony Robbins world lately, and my closest friends on the planet are what we call as platinum partners. 20 or 30 people. I feel like I just a couple of days ago I texted probably 20 of them individually, just hearing back from them about different things. When I found out I had to have this major surgery, I had a couple of weeks' notice. These were the first people I told outside of my immediate family. I didn't really go public because it wasn't news, I guess, but who am I going to tell? Who cares on Facebook, right? To give you an analogy, if I were to tell my church friends, their answer would be, oh, wow, that's terrible. But you know what? God's got a plan. And he does. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I were to tell my average neighbor or something, they'd say, oh, that sucks, man. But you know what? You're strong. They'll be better for it. To a T, these people didn't talk to each other, right? Some of them don't know each other. Every last one of them had one response. Whoa, that's amazing. That's great. You live in the 21st century where you get to have this done. Man, if it was 50 years ago, you wouldn't even have it done. 10 years ago, who knows? What a great opportunity for you. And what happened? When I go into surgery, she was there, not right before it. I'm being wheeled down. I'm cracking jokes, not as a coping mechanism, as a cool as a cucumber. And what's that?
He had person.
But I'm on the operating table, and it was a solid 30 or 40 minutes before they started doing the lights out on you. And I'm same thing. Oh, how long have you worked here? Oh, that's cool. Do you like your job? I'm having this interaction with these people as if I'm talking to you here. And one of the more rewarding moments of my life was waking up in the ICU a couple of days later and having somebody go by and he goes, oh, I remember this guy. Wow, that was cool. I've never seen that before. What do you think that did? When I go into surgery and I'm already I walk in sort of what I'd call peak state, when you wake up from surgery, you don't just go like, like hooray. You're like, oh, things hurt. Let's chill for a second. But because my mindset was there, it brought my body back, and I was in the healing state immediately, and I never left it. That's a very personal and fairly recent, I'll call it a miracle story. And 6 weeks later, I'm back at Tony Robbins doing Unleash the Power Within, which is an absolute rock concert. Everybody should do it. But it is jumping up and down, and it is 16-hour days and loud music and overstimulation. And I told Tony, because it was 6 weeks before surgery, I had a very public conversation with him at one of his events. And I got to tell Tony again, if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, look him up. I got to tell him again, did you know that 6 weeks after we talked, which was 6 weeks ago, I had this? And he had no idea. And I got to tell him, he's one of the reasons. Chiropractic and mindset, I believe, are the twin pillars. Without them, you can if you do everything else right and you don't have those, you won't be healthy. Simples. But speaking of some of the other things. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I didn't prepare a segue. In fact, I didn't prepare that story. But let's talk fitness for a minute, because you have to have fitness. Fitness is the oxygen in that bonfire, right? You have to have oxygen. If you eat right and you're out of breath going upstairs, you're doing something wrong. You can't out-exercise a bad diet, but without exercise, you don't have the oxygen to give you the cardiovascular system that your body requires. So I've given you, in your folders, I've showed it to you already, but it is this, two things. One is the book from Max T3. Everything you need to know is in there. It's really simple. You can get an app on your phone, a Tabata timer or whatever. You can set the durations. This has a couple of different types of workouts. Super fast. I feel like this is in the wrong order. I think most people will relate more to fast, where it's just simply 6 exercises. You do one, then the next, then the next, then the next, and the next.
Sounds a little harder though.
You think it's harder? I think it's easier.
If you're doing a sustained exercise for 1 minute, that's sometimes a little more intense than if you're only doing it for 20 seconds.
So, but the point here is what we're calling fast versus super fast. 20 seconds is full intensity for 20 seconds. 60 seconds is 60 seconds worth of intensity.
So everybody stand up. Stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Faster, faster, faster. I don't have a timer. You got a timer. 20 seconds on your watch. Okay, so we're going to just do one thing for 20 seconds, okay? I want you to move your feet as fast as you can.
Ready?
Okay,
go.
Ready? Go. Just move them as fast as you can. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then move your arms up and down. Up and down and move your feet. Up and down and move your feet.
Now ride the horse.
Keep going, keep going. Are we at 20 seconds?
18. 20.
All right. Good.
You call that intense? That's intense?
That's intense.
Okay.
If you were to do
Now feel the breath.
Yeah.
Feel that breathing, right? So do you... Yeah, right? So, but you think about it, like, the idea is you just push yourself with what you can do for a short period of time. You don't have to spend an hour working out at the gym, guys. Like, you really don't. You can literally do things like this. If you're waiting, I know, you can if you want. If that's your time, go. But if you're waiting for food to cook, sit there and just, like, run in place. Do some push-ups for 20 seconds. Like, set a timer for yourself. It doesn't have to be complex. If you got kids, do it with the kids, right? Like, push them in the stroller for 20 seconds, or, you know, well, maybe not that fast, but maybe we don't want to shake the baby. But, like, go for a walk for 20 seconds and then stop, you know, or, like, run faster with them for 20 seconds. But that's really, like, the point of that. You guys can all have a seat. That was only 20 seconds. You can do longer with that.
Who feels better? Who right now already feels better?
Feel that little, like, pump going?
I could do, and I did a lunch and learn once. It was on basically what we call the triad. It starts with physiology. Your physiology right now. You got blood going, oxygen going. After that, it's thoughts and then language, right? So once you start with physiology, well, if you're sitting down slouched in poor posture in a chiropractic office, by the way, you shouldn't expect much. But getting that physiology going, already your mind starts to go, ooh, I'm awake, let's do this. And then you can change your thoughts. That's a triad. So, but Max T3, there's different versions of it in here. I have given you what amounts to 40 days. You can do the first 30. You can come up with your own, but I'm trying to make this easy for you. This is, actually it says 28 days. This is 28 days worth, so 4 weeks. You don't want to put the creative energy into it. It's right here. Day 1, day 2, day 3.
And then pick your favorite 2 for the last 2 days.
We've done versions of this for so many years. When we were in Texas, I used to go down to the racquetball courts at the graduate school, and I'd have a dozen or so people meeting me, and we would do these down there at 6 a.m. We've had offices similar to this where we used to adjust at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 8 o'clock, I think it was. Patients would meet us at 7, and we would do these on a Saturday morning before adjustments. And we'd adjust for like an hour and a half or something, a short shift. But that got us going. We had elderly people, we had young people, and it's all variations. You can't do a push-up, do it against the chair, do it against the wall. But it's finding things that match, what's good for you. If you went to our last master class, that was on exercise. That's one of the reasons that I'm not going in super depth here. But again, if you have any questions, text them to the number and we'll get to it at the end. That was the really quick rundown on exercise. But I think we already know exercise is important. Everybody knows that, but we don't do it, it doesn't matter. Right? Or you end up with that natural attrition where you exercise a little bit and then a little bit less and a little bit less, and before you know it, it's off. So this is the 0 excuses. I don't care what time you have. Anybody can do it. It gives you more energy. You can't say I don't have energy. It gives you energy. You already feel more energetic, right? So next bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
We won't have a problem.
What's that?
That's where
I knew. Well, I think I'm glad.
That's why we're starting it after.
If you guys have a problem here, I'm glad I took coffee off of the slides because.
Thank you. I need my wine.
Well, let me do the coffee in 10 seconds or less.
Okay.
Coffee, fine. Don't do it unless it's not organic, and don't do it before 2 hours before you wake up. So if you wake up at 8, wait until 10 to have coffee because of what it does. It raises your cortisol levels. Your cortisol is already high in the morning. You don't want higher cortisol. There. Anybody time that? Good. Tea.
Any stimulants like that is going to do the same
The answer
thing.
is stimulants, but tea is a softer stimulant, especially if it's green tea.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
You want to give your body a chance to wake up, right? Like really the first thing that you should be putting in your body, like first thing in the morning, is some water.
All right. Alcohol.
Good quality.
In the morning?
Alcohol.
Jumpstart.
Transition.
So if you're not
alcohol.
if you're not drinking coffee for 2 hours, drink alcohol instead. Good whiskey. Hair of the dog. Is this thing on? Hope not. Okay. Alcohol. Surprise. It has health effects. I'm not here referring to beer, which has all the extra carbs and stuff that go with it. Alcohol has a bit of a double-pronged effect. One is it's first to burn. Your body, if you're drinking alcohol and you've had other foods or a high sugar drink or anything like that, those other calories with it, your body's going to take that alcohol, it's going to burn that first because it's the poison, and the rest of it, it's going to go, ooh, look, extra. I don't know what to do with it. Here, we're going to put that in the cell. And then later, it's going to call you nasty names in the mirror. Yeah, that's what alcohol does. Now, I learned an important lesson a couple of months ago. I was just talking to Barry about this. I've been wearing for a couple of months a continuous glucose monitor. One of the reasons I wore it is because I wanted to talk about it here, but then for time's sake, I said, I don't know if I'm going to get to it. But as a way of a footnote, highly recommend. You can do it. Just Google levels. I did a David Hyman levels glucose monitor. You can do them. They're not terribly cheap, but they're worth the research. One of the lessons that I learned with my glucose monitor was I just told you that if you're going to have alcohol, don't have Mai Tais, don't have margaritas, don't have the stuff that we want the most sometimes, because that's going to take those sugars and it's going to store that as fat, right? I learned a lesson, which I knew, but I didn't know at this extreme. It was maybe a month ago. I had not much, no calories with it, just straight with ice, I think, or was with Zevia or something, and not that much either. Just a couple of servings. I say servings because it's a professional environment. I had shots. It wasn't shots. It was bourbon on ice, I think. But my alarm kept going off in the middle of the night because my blood sugar was way too low. Way too low. I didn't have any sugars with it. I've been eating well. So if you have sugars with it, your blood sugar goes too high. If you don't have sugars, it goes too low. Because now what's happened is your body has shut off that mechanism where it's processing your body's sugars. So it's not pulling it from reserves. It just now goes, dude, we're supposed to be using energy now. I can't take it from anywhere. Now what? So alcohol gives you that double-pronged approach, right? I'm not saying avoid it because I'm realistic.
But we're kind of saying avoid it if you can.
But I am saying avoid it for the challenge. You'll feel better when you do.
You'll be amazed at how much even that little change can affect your weight loss.
That brings us to household cleaners.
So I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I just want to just kind of touch very, very briefly. There's one thing in particular, like he was saying about the cleaners. There's a lot of things that we're going to look for we have a cabinet here usually that says not this, not that. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to look around. We've got a lot of different things in there. Most people, like, everything I use is in that cabinet on the not that side. So we gave you some better options, but there's reasons for this. There's one thing in particular, it's when they talk about like why your household cleaners is so important to clean up, is because they estimate that your indoor air quality is 5 to 7 times more toxic than it is being outside. It's even more so than in a new construction home. They say it's even 100 times more toxic inside your newly constructed home versus a home that's, 10 plus years old or whatever. Because of all the evox and everything that gets off-gassed from all the new stuff, paints and things. Right before this, I had to run to Meijer on my way down here, and I walked in, and there was a lady wearing a mask, which I don't usually see anymore. And I realized why she's wearing a mask, because in the whole back of the store on the Meijer, they were painting, and the entire store, it was some of the strongest smelling paint or whatever they were using. I don't even, it smelled like paint thinner or something. I'm holding my jacket over my face just so I could breathe. And I was having to circulate the store twice just to find what I was looking for. But because of all those chemicals that we breathe in, from our candles to the things that we spray, the things that we use on to clean our counters, you can make it super, super simple. Sodium lauryl sulfate is one of the big ones that is in most personal care products, shampoos, soaps, everything. It will actually say sodium lauryl sulfate. You want to get that out of your system. It's been shown to cause liver damage or liver abnormalities, kidney damage, can compromise your immune system, and also affect cancer as well. It's also found in a lot of toothpaste. There's a foaming thing. So all those nice things that make it foam and suds and bubble, it does that because soap. If you look at cast iron soap, has anybody ever used cast iron soap before? It's just straight soap. It doesn't really bubble and foam, really. It does a little bit, but it's not like the big foamy stuff that we're used to, because that has what's called DEA, diethylamine, which actually they found it can contribute to cancer in animal studies. It's in over 600 personal care products, including soaps, lotions, bubble baths, and dishwashing detergents. So the stuff you wash your dishes in all the time as well. So you want to make a DEA. You're gonna make me read that word again?
Say that DEA, or will it have it all spelled out?
It'll probably have it all spelled out because that's what they like to do. They make it really long so you don't read it.
If you can't pronounce it, don't get it.
It's not
DEA or anything else.
And that covers everything.
It's not, but if you guys want to write this down, I'll spell it for you really fast. Die, I think it's appropriate. The first 3 letters is die, D-I-E. Thano, T-H-A-N-O, L-A, mine, M-I-N-E. Diethylamine. That's too much to say at once. And then sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS. It will also be written out sodium lauryl sulfate. Here's a tip. If you read the ingredients and you cannot pronounce it, and they don't have in parentheses like lemon oil or like peppermint oil, probably not good for you, okay? Not always, but usually it's a good rule of thumb, okay? Cosmetics, I'm so sorry, ladies. This is another really, really, really big one. Everything you put on your skin, guess where it gets deposited into? Your blood system, right? They say it's actually safer to like drink your lotion than it is to put it on your skin for most people, because your stomach at least has like stomach acid and stuff and can break it down, whereas like your skin, you cut it like bleeds, so it literally goes right into your bloodstream, which causes inflammation, affects your immune system. Horrible stuff. There's a website I want you guys to write down. If you guys heard, it's the Environmental Working Group, ewg.org. Have you guys ever heard of that before? EWG, just the letters, .org. What it is, it's a place that you can actually go on and you can put in your cleaning products that you're using, or your personal care products, or your cosmetics, or whatever, and it'll rate all the ingredients, A, B, C, D, E, or F. I guess there's no E anymore. A, D, C, and then like toxins, and then they give you better recommendations. So you're like, what do I use? We have some different options. There's tons of really great stuff. They're always coming out with new stuff. And it's also, again, pick your poison. Sometimes doing it where it might not be perfect, but you want to make it better.
What's that website?
What's it?
EWG.
EWG.org. So again, if you can't be perfect with it and be the best, just try to make it a little better with any of this, with the food, with the nutrition stuff, with the cosmetics, the everything. And then the last little bit with this is like the heavy metals and aluminum. Aluminum, guys, is a really, really big thing. The downside is it's like things like that, like fluoride. They're like, well, it's safe in like small quantities. It's not that big a deal. But the problem is they don't look at the people's total exposure to this over time, right? Like if you look at like aluminum in itself, it actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's a heavy metal. And they've actually found that increased accumulations of aluminum affects poor memory, can cause insomnia, headaches, increased estrogen-related gene expression in breast cancer cells, causes muscle and joint pain, depression, asthma. It can also create a leakiness to the gut, which can lead down to a lot larger autoimmune issues down the road as well. Its common sources, just so you guys know, baby formulas is a really big one actually. Baked good and processed foods. If you guys ever use like baking powder, it contains aluminum. It contains aluminum. You get to get the stuff that says aluminum free baking powder, okay? So think about this. Then most baked goods that you get online or in the grocery store, they're going to put the cheapest stuff in there, which is going to probably contain the aluminum stuff. Processed foods, antiperspirants. I'm going to go on a little bit of rant here for a second. Guys, we are meant to sweat. All right? It is normal to sweat, okay? Just let it go. It's good. Please sweat. Do not put the antiperspirants on to block your sweat, okay? Because there's a difference, exactly. If you're stinky, it's probably because you're toxic, okay? Because there's bacteria that are in that area. If you detox, I did this personally. When I first learned about this when I was in school, I went through and I detoxed, and I went through our daily detox that we have here as well. That's really great with like pulling the toxins from a cellular level, and then it like binds it, and then it helps it get rid of it, because that's what you want to do. You want to get them out, bind them, and then get it out of the body. When I started detoxing, like the smell went away. It just goes away. Like your body still sweats, but the smell can go away, right? So I joke with the girls because a lot of times I'll just use I have essential oil hand sanitizer, base hand sanitizer that I'll use as deodorant sometimes. But I typically don't use deodorant because it doesn't typically smell unless your body starts getting toxic and starts building up those toxins again. So you don't want the antiperspirant. A deodorant is different than an antiperspirant, right? Deodorant helps you deodorize. Antiperspirants help you stop sweating. Antiperspirants, though, you put it right here. Where's the most common? Well, if you guys don't know, think about the most common place for breast cancer for women and people tends to be in the lymph nodes in this upper quadrant right here. Right? Now, is it the only cause? Maybe not, but there's sometimes some correlation with that when you're blocking your body's ability to actually sweat and release some of those toxins and you're putting metals in there, it can cause things to start to get inflamed and cause a lot of destruction to the cells. So over-the-counter prescription antacids as well, those contain aluminum, vaccinations, and then using aluminum pots and pans. Aluminum foil, barbecuing. I know, pick your poison though, right? Like moderation, some things, maybe not. It's up to
In
you.
most cases, you can maybe not barbecue, but parchment paper can fill a good need.
Parchment paper is a good need. Yeah, you can't barbecue in it.
What are you cooking then? Glass? What are you cooking if you don't cook in living pot?
Yeah, I usually do glass. Silicone is actually a better option as well too, because it doesn't really leach as like plastic and stuff does. Yeah. Questions about those? I know that's a big thing. That kills the room a lot for people. They're like, crap, I gotta change everything. I'm the downer.
They even were able to cross the alcohol barrier, and now
Everybody stand up again. Stand up again. I'm not joking. Stand up. Stand up. I'm not gonna make you move your feet this time. We're gonna move your arms as fast as you can. The faster you get out, the faster we leave then, right?
Brian Bradley.
Yep. So 1 foot in front of the other. We're gonna do a moving your upper body, torso, hands. Okay, I'm just showing you. So we're not milking cows. We're not sawing wood.
This is the ultimate ab workout. It should be core.
You don't twist your hips. You keep your hips still. You're trying to move your arms only. Okay? You got me timed?
Yep.
Okay, ready? Go. And try to go as fast as you can. Forwards and backwards. This increases the flexibility in the middle of your back. Feel those. You might fall over. Engage those cores. Engage those core muscles. Good. There you go, girl. Keep going. Keep going. Faster, faster, faster.
Wait, do you have the time or do I?
I don't know.
I was kidding.
And sit. There we go. Okay. The last thing.
I did a lunch talk once where I said, oh, what was it? Something about doing 100 air squats. And I said, all right, everyone get ready. They thought I was serious. They almost left the room.
It's hilarious. So, like Dr. Todd mentioned, really it all comes down to a few big things. Like, you guys, your body was meant to heal. Okay? Like, you guys were created and designed to heal. Everything your body does. The reason you're still alive and you're like, oh my gosh, I put all this crap in my body. I'm going to expose all this toxins. I'm not detoxing. I'm doing all the bad stuff, but yet I'm still alive. There's a reason for that, right? Because your bodies were meant to live and survive and heal. We just make it a little harder for ourselves, though, with adding all that other stuff. So what we want to give you guys is the framework. Like, literally, we gave you the framework of, like, this is exactly what I would tell you to do. If you come in and it's like, hey, doc, what I do, I want to lose weight. I'm having troubles with my metabolism or all these issues. Do this. This is exactly what I recommend. Do these supplements. Do the protocols that we gave you for the 30-day challenge. It's a perfect way to kickstart that. And the point is with it, guys, is there's never a destination with it. Like, it's not like 30 days and whew, I'm done, right? Like, health is a journey, right? You're either going towards health, this way, is health, towards health, or you're going away from it, which is what? Death. We're going to say it, death, right? Like, every decision you make is going to move you this way or this way. Everything. Every decision. Fine, prove me wrong. Every decision will affect it one way or the other, right? Every stress, everything we put in our bodies, what we do or don't do in our bodies. So we want to go this way because this is like better quality of life. This is like being able to enjoy your family, travel, make a difference in this world. When you're going in this direction, how much harder is it to do those things, right? Like, it sucks. Like, it's just not a way that we want to go. We want to live a long time, but we want to have a good quality of life with it, not just quantity of life. Nobody wants to live their life in a nursing home for the rest of their lives, right? Like, nobody wants to be living a life where everyone's having to take care of them. So we have to take personal responsibility, and that's what today's about, is you take that responsibility for your own health and say, you know what? My decisions are probably a large part of how I got to where I am. It is, right? I mean, let's be honest, like genetics, if you guys ever think about, well, I have bad genes, everybody in my family had this, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get it. It can make you more prone to it, and your lifestyle habits might make you more likely to develop it because of your lifestyle is turning on those genes. But there's actually a whole field of study called epigenetics, which is an amazing study because it actually talks about how your genes are expressed differently based off of the things that you do with your body and the decisions that you make, from your mindset to things you put in your body to what you do with your body. So that should be really, really encouraging, because it's like, wow, I can actually like change this. Like, just because everybody in my family had all these issues, that doesn't mean I'm going to end up that way too. Absolutely not. It doesn't mean you have to end up that way. It just means that we might have to work a little harder than somebody else, right? Like if somebody has really good genes, cool. But if somebody doesn't, sorry, your health journey is not going to look the same as mine. We all are on our own journeys. So try not to compare yourselves to each other and think, oh man, I got such a long ways to go, or I've tried this and it's not working. Like, we're all unique. We're all different, which is the amazing part about it. And it's all about like learning your individual things that your body does. Like things you were telling me about how your body feels really good after eating a certain thing. Cool. Follow that, right? Like, these are guidelines for you guys, okay? But health is this thing that we will always be working towards and we will never achieve. But health is 100% function. Like, that's where we want to go. Now, we talk about this sometimes, but you can actually go all the way down 40% from 100 and get down to 60% function before your body even tells you that there's something wrong, before you even get a symptom, which is crazy, right? So you could be hovering, like your body's functioning at like 61%, 60%, and you might not get any symptom of it whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, boom, the next day that person has a heart attack. And you think, what the heck? They had a clean bill of health the day before. When we were living in London, there was a guy who ran the London Marathon a couple years ago. And I mean, this guy was in his 40s. He looked like a marathon runner. Like, he was in like amazing shape. He looked great. He probably ate really well. And he dropped dead on a heart attack on the course, running the marathon. And you think, of all people, his heart should be in the best shape of all of us, right? So what happened? Why did that happen to him but not other people? We all have to look about how our body's functioning and how it's healing. And that, like Todd talked about, this is the nervous system, guys. Like, everything that we do, everything that you do revolves around your nervous system. You can't get away from it. It's always there. It's always working for you, not against you, right? Your body doesn't hate you. Please don't ever tell yourself that your body hates you. It does not. It just may not like what you're doing to it or what you're not giving it, but your body doesn't hate you, because your body's number one thing to do is what? He'll heal and keep you alive, right? Like, it wants you to stay alive. It doesn't want you to die, because if you're dead, well, then the body, it's done, right? Like, you can't live. So your body wants to stay alive, but it wants to also, like, it's going to protect you and do what it thinks it has to do so that you stay healthy. Okay? Cancer is a response to your body saying, hey, I got to do something to try to keep you healthy. Okay? It's not always a bad thing. It gives us like insight to look at well, what can I do better? What can I improve on? Same thing with heart disease. Same thing with digestive issues, autoimmune issues. It doesn't have to be a death sentence. It's your body's way of saying, hey, maybe there's something we could be doing a little bit better. Okay? And at the end of the day, though, we have to make sure that your nervous system is functioning at its best, because your immune system is controlled by what? The brain. Thank you. I know more than two people know this. The brain, right? Your immune system, your heart is controlled by the brain. Yes, I know we're tired, but your digestive system is controlled by the, everybody, brain. You to feel that pain, it's because of the brain, right? And so for your body to heal and get better, it's because of the brain. Awesome. Great job, guys. But we have to make sure that the brain is able to communicate with the body. And that's where your nervous system comes in, and that's where your spine comes in. And as chiropractors, people are like, why the heck do you talk about the nerves so much? Like, we are nervous system doctors. Everything we do affects your nervous system directly. And I prove it to you because I show you, right? Your bones protect it. There is not a single nerve that doesn't come out between a bone somewhere. Dare you to find it. It doesn't exist, okay? Your spinal cord is so important. It's surrounded by bone. You can maybe barely even see that yellow part. When the spine is in the normal place, it actually protects it fully. It's happy, it's good. But then we screw it up sometimes with things that we do or don't do. But the really cool thing about this, guys, is, as I said, the best doctor in this room is you. Okay? It's not me. It's not Dr. Todd. The best doctor in this room is you, each and every one of you. You were born with a God-given innate ability to heal. And you can call it whatever you want, whether you don't believe in God or whatever, that's up to you. But you can't deny that if you cut your arm, is it going to heal? Mm-hmm. Sure. Is your heart beating right now? Mm-hmm. Did you have to tell it to do that? Mm-hmm. Thankfully, right? Can you imagine if we had to like try to tell our bodies to like do all the functions that they do on a daily basis? Like, we'd be dead. We'd be dead in a minute. Like, nobody would survive because your body is doing what it was created to do. And so in order to make sure that we help that doctor unleash itself, we have to make sure that the power around that is unleashed, so that the bones are nice and aligned as properly as possible. So when we look at the spine, we talk about how it should be straight. It has to be straight. This is what scientists say. It has to have these curves. When you lose any of that, even if it's just a few degrees, it's like, well, it's not that bad, but it's still off from, that's definitely a lot bad. You're walking like this. That's true. Really a flesh wound. But when your spine is in bad places, it cannot function properly, right? Like, it's like, there's a lot of analogies you can use it for it, but if you're trying to like, if you got a drain, and this happened to me this morning, right? Too much hair gets in the drain, and then what happens to the water? It clogs up. It doesn't go down right away. Now, eventually, if I walk away and I turn off and I go back home this afternoon, what probably happened to the water? It probably went down, right, to some extent, because it just happened. So, well, not just. That's the point. It didn't just happen, did it? Right? I remember at the Home and Garden show a year ago was the last time I cleaned my drain. Little we're getting real now. Oh, I have my own bath. He has his own shower.
Mine's clean.
Mine is. He doesn't have the hair like I do, apparently. But so a year ago, I remember at the Home and Garden show that I got one of those eco plumbers. If you guys haven't been, you need to go. The eco plumbers, they have like that really cool, like, yeah, isn't it awesome? You just stick it in and it just pulls right up. There's no like putting your fingers in there and gloves and whatever. It just sticks down and it pulls it right up.
You can buy it at the Dollar Tree.
Yes, perfect. This one was free. But anyway.
She got so excited about it. She ran over to me with one. She was like, "Look what I got! I got one.
Get one!"
I have one.
But the point is, so this all has a point. I promise.
You want me to get branded? Got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually really good. So a year ago, I remember was the last time that I cleaned my shower drain. Okay. It took a year, and well, the home show just ended, a couple weeks ago, a year and a few days for it to get the symptom that now there's a problem, right? That didn't happen just overnight, did it? No. So it's been building. So when you come in and you're like, Doc, I don't know why I have these symptoms. All I did was I slept funny. No, you didn't. There was a problem leading up to that you might not have known was there because you might not have seen the symptom of it. Or you might not have felt it, or maybe you did, and you could see that the water wasn't quite going down quite quickly, but it's like, oh, but by the time my shower's done, it's down, right? And how often we ignore those little things all the time, right? Or we compare, we're like, oh, well, his shower's way worse than mine, so mine's doing pretty good, right? We do this comparison game. But that's why you have to pay attention to this, and why health is so such a game of not just like waiting until there's a problem to do something about it. Because if you do wait, you might not always have the chance to do something about it, right? Like, you get that big diagnosis, you have the surgery, like, thank God he had the opportunity to actually do something about it. But some people in that situation, they don't get that opportunity. Don't put yourself in that position where it's like, oh crap, well, now now I have to go to drastic measures, right? Like all this stuff, this 30-day challenge, guys, do you know how much easier it is when you don't have your life on the line? Like where you're literally, it's like life and death waiting. Like I remember when you had your heart surgery in England, and
I've had a few now.
he's had a few, he's joined the club. But I remember at that point, like the most important thing, and that was the first time I got to experience that. But at that point, like the most important thing in the world was like, we got to keep you alive. We got to survive this thing. Right. So you don't want to get to that point, guys, because it's a lot scarier and it's a lot riskier. Do something now. Do the hard stuff, but choose your hard. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to give up alcohol for 30 days. Sure, it might be hard to intermittent fast for 30 days where you don't eat for 13 hours instead of 10 or whatever, right? These things might be hard. It might be challenging. But if you're either going to do this hard or you're going to get hard at some point down your life, it's going to come.
You can do it.
You can. You absolutely can do it. You just choose and decide what you want to do with it. If you have the symptoms, if you have warning signs of things already, I don't have the warning signs on here, but you guys all know warning signs, right? Symptoms are obviously the obvious warning signs, but you don't always get the warning sign, right? Or you get these little things that are like, ooh, like my car transmission, is it going out? Is it? We have no idea. Some scans say it is, some say it's not. It feels a little funny to me. I'm used to driving it, so I know, I pay attention to it. But the check engine light hasn't come on. I just know I'm like, it just feels a little off. Yeah, exactly. In our life, what do we think that's, oh, well, I'm just getting what? I'm just getting older. I'm not running as well as I used to. Man, these are good analogies I'm coming up with today. Didn't even plan those. So all these little warning signs, guys, if you have these, if you guys are patients already, obviously, like, we're not, again, we want you guys to feel good. And that's the first, like, what brings people in usually is like, let's get you out of pain. Let's get you feeling better. But why we keep adjusting you, even once the pain goes away, why we have patients that have been here for years, and why I've been adjusted literally my whole life since I was 2 weeks old is because, not because I have symptoms, because I'm trying to prevent those big things from occurring. The kids that we see in here getting adjusted is because we're trying to prevent the problems the parents have. As a parent, we give anything for our kids to keep them healthy and to keep them safe, to give them the best of everything, right? Parents, if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. You will give your kid the best quality of everything, and then you eat the garbage because you want to make sure that they're the healthiest, right? That they have the best opportunity to grow up healthy and strong because you've had your time, right? So get yourself assessed. If you're a guest, I know I'm a little intense with this, but I get so passionate about this because this is what I'm meant to do. This is how I'm meant to help you guys. My job is to help get you guys to a place so that you can help other people, so that you can live out your mission and your purpose in your life. That's my job, right? Like my job's not just to make you feel better. It's just like so that you can be the best version. You can be the best mom, the best dad, the best husband, wife, coworker, boss, grandparent, anything you want to be and have the most impact. So if you are a guest today, I invite you, if you've never had your spine checked, please, please, please schedule a time to come in. Okay, we drastically discount it because we don't want money to be a factor to keep you from doing something, to getting your back checked. Our normal exam, x-ray, consult, any x-rays that we would need to take is normally $270. We actually, for today, we discounted it to $37. So that's even cheaper than our regular referral rate that we do for our friends and family, because we just want you guys to have the opportunity to like, just get it checked, please. Okay. It's up to you what you do with it. Because who's in control of your health? Yourselves. No, you are. No, you are. You are. But that's why we'll take x-rays. So that's the first step. If you've never been checked, obviously get checked. If you are a patient already and you've been getting adjusted for any length of time, whether it's like you're just getting started, you're a little bit into it, a couple months, couple years, reassess yourself with where you are. It's not uncommon as people go through care that we have to like, okay, we start off, maybe you come in more often, then we kind of taper it down. But sometimes it's not uncommon to have to ramp that up again. Okay, some people I've been adjusting them twice a week for the last several years because that is what their body functions best at. For some people, they can go longer. It depends on what you do outside of here. right? It depends on how well you do your home stuff, how well you stick to your nutrition or your exercise, everything that you guys are doing, okay? So use this as a time. Part of the challenge intentionally is to make sure you are sticking to your protocols of your adjustments as well as your home exercises. For many of you, if you're just getting started with your exercises, it's twice a day. Newsflash, most of them are twice a day. If you've been under care for a while and you're more into wellness, it's probably down to once a day. But most people are doing twice a day for that reason, okay? Julie has the place for if you are a new patient, or a guest, and you want to schedule a time to come in and get assessed. She's holding a little sign. Everybody look at Julie. Wave at Julie. Hi, Julie. Talk with Julie. She will find the best time to get you guys in so we can sit down, discuss what's going on with you guys, go through your health history, do any assessments or testing that we need to do any x-rays that we need to take. We have them right here. And then your second visit, we'll schedule a follow-up time where we'll go through what we found. And then that visit is typically when I suggest that we adjust so we can see how your body reacts and then figure out a game plan. Okay?
Guys, if you're feeling even at the slightest inkling, you're like, look, I don't know what's happening right now, but I just know something's got to happen. Don't wait to schedule it. Again, a goal is a dream until it's scheduled. That schedule makes it real. Scheduling is the first step. Getting the next steps after that, that's just the next steps. But schedule, then show up, and then we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I already talked about this.
Went over that.
Yep. What about insurance? Okay, I get this question a lot. Does insurance cover chiropractic? Anybody? No. Sometimes, maybe.
In network.
In network, and only if you've hit your
Deductible.
Exactly. Yeah. So the short answer is, does insurance cover it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It all depends on your policy. Honestly, if you hit deductibles, copays, in network, out of network, or whatever, most of you guys or most of my patients here even don't have good coverage anyway. So we do discounts, we do payment plans, we do all sorts of things. Again, we never want money to be that issue to keep you from getting the help that you need and deserve. So we can work a plan out for you if that's something that you guys do want to do with it. But also understand this too. Understand what insurance is meant for. Right? It's meant for the big stuff. It's meant for the surgeries and for the, you break arms and whatever, and the urgency, the critical care, I call it. That's what it's meant for. It's not for the day-to-day stuff to keep you healthy.
Or even more, it's not for your brake pads. It's not for when your engine goes out. Mm-hmm. It's not for the new transmission. I really wish it was. It's not.
Yeah.
Same thing with this. Mm-hmm. So insurance is and the other way, there's two ways to put it. There's that way. And the other way is, to the insurance companies, you're part of an algorithm. Mm-hmm. I hate to make it impersonal, but you are. We have somebody, if you've been here for any amount of time, you've probably met Tasha. Tasha is your best advocate. Mm-hmm. Insurance companies, you can call them 10 times and get 10 different answers based off what your coverage is. Right?
Trust me.
Tasha's job is to get you the coverage that you signed up for, and she is your advocate for doing that. Yeah. Right? She is the absolute best line of defense for you. Mm-hmm. If you are currently a patient in another chiropractic office or something like that, we're not trying to take you away. If you're getting the results that you want, if you want to come see us, let's talk about that too. But we're going to do that on a sidebar. Let's probably not do that here.
Absolutely. I love these quotes here because it says the aim of medicine is to prevent disease and prolong life. The ideal of medicine is to eliminate the need of a physician. Think about that. Given one well-trained physician of the highest type, and he will do better work for 1,000 people than 10 specialists. So again, it's all going back to that inner doctor in your body. The less you can rely on on your healthcare system and your insurance, the better off you're going to be anyway, right? Because that means you're healthy, you're doing good stuff, you're like taking care of yourself. Again, we don't want to end up in that situation. I love those quotes. So action steps.
Yep. Before we do that, let's do the raffle.
Raffle. Right. So I apologize. I know some of you guys were like, oh, I wanted to buy stuff. Oh, too late. That's what happens when you wait. You lose out.
So we should have taken action.
You should have taken action. Action. Isn't there a song like that? ACT Island? I don't know. All right. So for the first one here, first prize, well, I guess it could be any prize. For the first one here, we've got a protein and a bag of the Brothers nuts, which are organic sprouted nuts. You get to Your fate is in his hands, actually.
Oh.
Who the winner? You got to be present to win. Hopefully nobody left.
How do you even open these things?
Oh, they're Post-its.
They're Post-it
not,
notes.
not that one. Just kidding. Doug.
Penny's husband. I love how it's literally written as Penny's husband.
Penny's husband.
That's awesome. All right, we are going to do a one of our Yeti mugs. We have our Yeti mug, our referral mugs that we have, and a bag of the Brothers Nuts.
If you didn't know, if you refer a friend, you get one of these Yeti mugs. You also get 20% off of any supplement. So these are my go-to. Ever since I ordered these, I'm like, yeah, get these in bulk. I think I'll take a few myself.
So there you go.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. Mr. Barry Bundy. There you go. Good. Awesome. And the last prize is this will help you get started on the challenge. It is a $50 gift card to Fresh Time.
Whoa.
Do you guys know where Fresh Time is? Or have you heard of Fresh Time? Let's start with that. Who has not?
Who's never been there?
Fresh Time.
I've never been there, but I've heard of it.
It's 5 minutes down the road from here.
Yeah.
Yes. There's one, if you guys didn't know, from here, 23, just go on the other side of 270 and go 5 minutes up the road or less.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah, actually, and there's Fresh Time. It's
Right-hand side.
right-hand side, yes. It's super
Right
close.
foot.
If you, and then
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the other Fresh Time. There are two.
Oh, there is another
Oh,
Fresh
there
Time.
are two. That's right.
That's
the other one up in
true.
Paris, which is, yeah.
There,
Well, yeah,
yes, there.
But both of those are like 7 minutes or less.
Yeah. So you
the
got two.
Sawmill's
I
probably
forgot about that, yeah.
not that far either.
Depends on which direction you come from, I guess.
geez.
Depends on where you go.
Well, you just found a wealth.
Woo, I love it. So, yeah, so this will give you a jump start on your grocery needs as you plan.
How to do the challenge then, if you get it.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that would make it so difficult.
Faith, Mark. Well, okay, it's to both of you guys, so you guys got to fight over it. Faith and Mark.
There's already 2 men that won.
Faith, congratulations.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, they're so it's focused.
There you go.
Right, as we're wrapping up, you have the clicker.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. I want to make sure that we're tying a bow around some things. But I want to make sure that we're leaving here not just feeling good about what we've learned, but also inspired to take action. So first action step, if you haven't yet signed up for the challenge, you can do it. You can still do it today. If you say, I don't know, let me think about it. First of all, we all know that, I don't know, let me think about it, means right now you probably want to, but later you're not going to get around to it.
And you won't do
Right.
it.
So I'm going to let you be an adult and figure out what you want to do. However, if you want to set yourself up to succeed, I say do it. Same goes for the supplements. Those won't be on discount after today. Once you leave here today, it's like the jet door's closed. You can't reboard the plane.
Unless it doesn't have bolts.
Unless it's a Boeing. I'm on a long flight tomorrow, so I hope
Hope it's not a Boeing.
I'm not a Boeing. I didn't look.
Can I just make a quick comment while you're thinking?
Yeah, of course.
Just from personal experience, spending the money, a little bit of money on really good food, and spending money on like just everyday general care, like coming to a chiropractor, is a lot less expensive in the long run than paying for big medical bills. Insurance does not pay for all of it, and like I said, I just know from personal experience that it's
Yeah, thank you.
making a difference in my life. So
That's awesome. Yeah,
just wanted
thank
to
you.
share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And,
Yeah.
and by the way, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, another thing to note is every body needs a buddy. If you're doing the challenge, it's better if you have a buddy with you. That's also true if you're generally caring about your own health. Every body needs a buddy. That is the single greatest motivational factor in your life is the person that you spend the most time with. You are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So everybody needs a buddy. Get your buddy on board. That includes if you, since we started this by saying, look, we're on a mission. We're on a mission to help transform healthcare. This is healthcare. I am going tomorrow. Well, I leave tomorrow. On Monday, I'm presenting on a panel for some healthcare conference, Health 2.0, it's called in Las Vegas. And I'm on a panel with healthcare, but when I see healthcare, I sort of cringe a little bit because it's really not, that's usually sick care. And I'm kind of going, what am I doing here? Am I going to get roasted? Are they going to try to roast me alive here or not?
I might, yeah.
But I'm on the, it is what it is. But being in an environment where you're with like-minded people and those that are closest to you, your results will go better and faster if those closest to you are also getting results. Best way for them to do that, number one, this challenge is a great opportunity. They don't have to be a patient to do the challenge. This is open for anybody. There's no charge for it. We already said that. But also invite them, bring them in. Referrals you get discounts. I already talked about the Yeti mug, and you get discounts on the supplements. But mostly is you get to change somebody's life, and that helps change your life too. Birds fly better when they fly together. So don't forget if you're signing up for a new patient exam, do that at the table over there. Don't forget the supplements, same story. Charcuterie is, can we get another round of applause for our vendors?
Yes, thank you guys. Yeah, so any catering needs that you have, she's your girl, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's beautiful setup.
I'm beyond grateful for those that have been a part of today. I'm grateful for you guys coming. There is a new sense of energy right now. And I'm hoping that you take that new energy and you take it home and you spread that energy to your home and your communities and your church groups and your neighborhoods and your book clubs. And I'm hoping you bring the energy. Because energy is never created nor destroyed. It's only transferred. So take the energy you've got today, transfer it to your community. And just like when you light a candle, you don't lose your light. You get more light from it. Bring your friends. I'm asking you, this is your chance to change their lives too by engaging them in the challenge and having them come in for an exam as well. Change starts now. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but his interest with patients what real interest is patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause of prevention of disease. Thomas Edison.
Events.
This is what's that?
The event thing.
Oh, right, the calendar.
Mm.
You want to see that? Last thing I wanted to mention real quick. You guys, I know we went a lot longer than I wanted to go today, but I know we gave you a lot of information, and I think we sensed that you guys were all kind of engaging back, and so I'm grateful for you coming. PAW, that's Patient Appreciation Week. We try to make that special. We bring food. That's a great week for you to bring your friends or something to come get their exam or something like that. But at the end of that, on that Saturday, you know when we have community dinner, we get this thing over here, the World Change the dinner table. We'll have a community breakfast. It's a Saturday. And at that breakfast, we'll do a bit of a recap here. We'll do it a lot shorter, I promise. But we'll do a recap. And we'll also do where you can sign your family up or your friends or something for a spinal screening. Not a new patient exam, but a screening. Where, like, if you've met us at the Home and Garden Show or at the Pet Expo or wherever out somewhere, where we've got that thing with the strings, right? We will have that and help your friends or your family show where they might be misaligned. And maybe you've been wanting them to come in, but you're like, oh, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to do it. Oh, they're resistant, or I don't know. This is the chance to do it. You don't have to. We will. We'll do it for you. And our little machine will help show where things are misaligned, and we'll explain better why that matters. Ladies' Night, May 10. I'm not invited.
It's gonna be really fun, guys. We're gonna have a lot. Yeah, it's all about we're working on a couple of different vendors coming in as well. We're gonna have massages. We're looking at getting somebody who does they do like spray tans that are like less toxic and stuff as well. They don't have all the chemicals. So we're looking at having them come in. We will schedule for all that, as well as some other really goodies, healthy snacks and maybe some healthy wine or mocktails that we'll do that night. So we'll have more information. Yeah. So we're gonna. It's actually the weekend of Mother's Day.
I think she did. Healthy wine.
Yes, I think I heard that.
It's also Mother's Day weekend, so it's a Friday evening. We're gonna have it here in the office. Mother's Day weekend, so it's a great time to treat yourself, your friends, your family. We'll have more details as we get closer to that as well.
And we're about 8 weeks away from our next master class. We're going to talk about chemical toxicity. That'll be in your food, your cleaning products, your environment, your carpet.
So all the stuff that you guys were like, yeah, this is amazing.
Yep.
I'm gonna go more.
Yeah.
Give you actual other stuff that you can utilize.
I have a day in mind. I don't want to nail it down. I'm not, because it's still a few months away. I do have the day though.
Don't do the first week.
I don't.
We'll be in Atlantic City enjoying our life on vacation.
Okay.
All right. Noted.
I'll be in Las Vegas tomorrow, so I got
Oh, say
working on stuff for you guys. So, guys, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
for coming.
guys.
Thanks again
Thank
to
you.
Danielle and Julie.
Yes.
For smashing it.
And all the volunteers, Kristen. Awesome, guys.
Thanks, you guys are dismissed.
Thank you.
Class dismissed.
You are sent.
Quiz next Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you show Doug what you meant about the block, the thing that for my neck, that exercise?
Oh.
Put the block on the other side of the door, and we're talking about wrapping it around the door. Like
Oh, gotcha. So the
because I have to adjust it.
so you have the one end. The block goes on the side typically that you stand on, and then the little thing goes over. What I was telling her you could try is getting like a rope and attaching from one side of the door, go under the door, and attach it to the block on the other side, and then tie it that way so that they can stay on there, maybe be a little bit more stable. So you could try that, or I know she was talking about turning it the block so it's on the inside, opposite of where you are. If that's more steady, that might be helpful as well.
Yeah, that's just a hard one.
Yeah,
Especially for
It's hard
short
for me
people.
to
because
I
they
know.
can't
That's why if
get
you
up there.
got to get a step, and then that's why adding like a rope or something like that. That actually was given to me by a patient who's like 70s, 80s year old or whatever. She's like,
you just leave it up.
yeah, you can just leave it up.
Yeah,
Or some people will put a thing in the ceiling in the stud up there,
Yeah.
and they'll put like a hook and stuff up there, and they'll put the hook on the wall so that way they can like do it that
have
way.
it more like
And have
Yeah.
it similar, but yeah, you're using the ceiling as opposed to the wall, because that you can still pull out from the ceiling. It's a lot harder to pull down on the ceiling with it. Yeah. So that some people will do that one as well too. Awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Yes. Have a great one. Hi. How are you?
Good to see you.
How's your new job going?
Great. I
Yeah.
finally got my hours adjusted, so things can start falling into place.
Yay.
I have a
Good.
question for you.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
been using that thing that you gave Dan
Yeah.
that goes around your neck.
Yeah.
When I do that, I get such a massive headache.
Okay.
And it lasts for like 12 hours.
Then don't do it.
I'm doing something wrong.
Oh yeah. You might be pushing too hard.
Okay.
Bye. Yes. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wanted to check
You're
because
probably just yeah, you might be just doing a little bit too much. I'm trying to think of your neck. I can't think of your neck off the top of my head.
it's okay.
but-
It's a little straight. It's not
Okay.
like this.
If you have a bone that's kind of shifted even a little bit, where one's like kind of shifted backwards or forwards a bit, that could possibly be putting some added pressure on the nerves or the spine itself.
Yeah, it feels like it's over a little bit. Sometimes it shifts and then it goes back, and it's like, okay, what am I doing today? You know?
Yeah.
But,
Well, and also too, the exercises for home do supplement the adjustments when you're doing those better, as opposed to just doing the exercises. So, because what happens is the spine can get shifted out of alignment, and then you're doing exercise and things, and it might not be fully it might be because it's also out of alignment, and that's just causing a lot more stress on it too.
yeah, and that makes sense.
So they are meant to go together like that as well too. So, but yeah, I would just back off on that and just not do that for a little bit. Yeah, you're welcome.
How are things for you?
Good. Yeah, been good.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been busy?
Yeah, been good. Yeah, we'll hope to get you back in soon.
You will.
Okay, awesome. We'll see ya. Yeah. Yes,
I
ma'am.
would like a copy of that toxic that you said is some in food and some in